I'm Tom Dorley. I write and broadcast about food and drink here in Ireland. Join me on a little journey to somewhere very special. Welcome to Dingle on the far west coast of Ireland. Now, things are a little bit different in Dingle. For example, today, the Feast of St. Bridget is actually, despite the weather, the first day of spring in these parts. And here's another point of difference about Dingle. This very special little town is actually the heart of a renaissance in the ancient Irish art of distilling. And so the spirit is reborn in Dingle. Now, this is not a task for the faint-hearted. It takes courage, determination, vision, passion to create a new Irish whiskey with a unique character. And speaking of unique characters, I want to talk to Oliver Hughes.
I love welcoming people to Dingle because it is one of the great places on earth. So the whole idea is Dingle Founding Fathers. It's an opportunity for people to become a founding father of the Dingle Distillery. It'll never happen again. There'll only be 500 worldwide. And I see this as a great opportunity for somebody to have their piece of Irish history and heritage, which can be put into a glass. I am so looking forward to putting into Dingle an independent distillery, making the most magnificent single malt whiskey. It's not just the most westerly town in Europe. It's not just because it has some of the most amazing coastline. It's not just because it has some of the greatest bars you'll come across in the world. It's a sense of everything that involves in Dingle. And so I love bringing people here.
You have to be a real enthusiast. You have to be absolutely passionate about it and have the belief that this is going to be the finest Irish whiskey that's ever been distilled.
What do you think is unique about Dingle? Why is Dingle a particularly interesting place to start a new whiskey venture?
Well, for a start, Dingle is the most westerly town in Europe. So the distillery will be the most westerly distillery in Europe. Secondly, the climate is a microclimate down here, which will add to the nuances of the whiskey when it's maturing particularly. And thirdly, I think that the whole sort of romance about a distillery way down in the southwest of Ireland actually excites me greatly, and I'm sure it will excite many, many people greatly. I'm very, very pleased to be part of this. I mean, I've been very fortunate to be involved in one or two projects around the world. But this one for me, and I was saying earlier to somebody, this one for me is probably the most, if you like, emotionally involved for me. We Scots are not noted for being particularly generous people, but having said that, you can become emotionally involved with whiskey distilling. And for as far as I am concerned, this project has that type of a feeling in my body, if you like. It's emotional and it's so exciting. It's artisanal, and the whole concept for me is absolutely brilliant. No two casks are ever the same. The produce of no two casks is ever the same. There may be minuscule differences, but they are absolutely there all of the time, different. The interesting thing is that if you buy a cask of whiskey, a single cask of malt whiskey, then you are indeed buying a unique limited edition. This is going to be the most wonderful malt, and let's emphasize malt whiskey, produced in beautiful copper pot stills. Triple distillation, is practiced in some of the lowland malt distilleries in Scotland, but not many of them. But it has the advantage, distinct advantage, and especially with this whisky we're going to produce in Dingle, to actually present the consumer eventually with such a gentle, smooth, and as I said yesterday, velvety, liquid velvet whisky, which will be just fantastic. Founding fathers are most important to this company. I'm a founding father, and the founding father concept is that you can order a cask if you want, and we hope that you're going to order one. It could be port wood, sherry wood, or bourbon wood, whatever your choice is. The fact of the matter remains that you will have a cask which is totally bespoke to you, which is totally unique to you, as individual as you are, as individual as perhaps I am. I hope very much, as a founding father myself, that I'm going to meet all of you founding fathers here in this distillery in Dingle, and we will have a dram together. Slanjiva.
I want them to come back every year and taste that whiskey mature, because every year we'll have the founding fathers dinner, party, hoolie. How do you describe anything that happens in this town? Because it starts early and it finishes late.
When it comes to whisky, and specifically to Irish whisky, we've seen how each cask of Dingle Founding Fathers is unique. And there seems to be no doubt that the value of those casks will go up over time due to their singularity, their rarity. But there is something here that's beyond putting a price upon. That sense of sharing a very special experience, that sense of being part of something new and yet very old, is something beyond price. And in that sense, the difference is Dingle.